Does anybody know what time it is? That's right. It's time for some more squirrel radio. I'm getting less and less people actually listening to this shit, but it still amuses the fuck out of me. So I'm gonna keep making them, because I don't give a shit. So today I picked a topic that is one of my favorites because I believe it's pretty much what is the best and the worst about me, which is something I've known about myself for a long time, which is that I have a false sense of entitlement. For some reason, ever since I was a kid, I always thought it was because I was the youngest and I was always given whatever I wanted to begin with. And I have the kind of personality where I just kind of demand shit from people, which kind of goes along with my false sense of entitlement. Anyway, if I thought that I wanted something, or if I wanted to do something, that I should be able to do it. Pardon me. So I did, without any sense of remorse, or, I wouldn't feel bad about it at all. I would just take shit that I wanted because I thought it should be mine. And I would make people do shit for me because I thought that I deserved to have people do things for me. This is completely independent of whatever weight I was at, whatever stage in my life I was at. This false sense of entitlement's always been with me. And that was even when I was in America. So even as an American, I knew that I particularly had a sense of entitlement. But it wasn't until I left America for New Zealand that I realized that, pardon me, I'm trying to inhale my coffee. I didn't realize that, hold on, I gotta pause this shit. Alright, sorry about that. I had to cough my fucking brains out and decided that I didn't want you guys to have to listen to that. Anyway. So, what led me to want to talk about this topic was I was at work last Sunday with my mate Mindy, who is, to put it in someone else's words, crazier than a snake, and I fucking love her to bits. I look forward to working with her every Sunday because she swears as much as I do, and she's hilarious in every way. The two of us together, if anybody else was in the lab, we would definitely get in trouble, and I don't think we'd be allowed to work together. But anyway, I love our Sundays together because it's just her and I. And she's talking about her husband who's in the army here, and just talking about the obedience and that kind of stuff. And a thought just popped into my head, totally, unprovoked, just popped right in there, and I heard myself say, "I'm too American to be obedient." And I started laughing my ass off because it's true. Americans, it's not just me, it's all Americans have this sense of entitlement. When you see American tourists out in other countries, what are they doing? They're usually demanding the best from wherever they are, right? If they're at a hotel, they're demanding upgrades. If they're at a restaurant, they're demanding better service. There is no faster way to piss off an American than to put them in a fucking German restaurant, okay? Even the most saint-like American with all the patience in the world will inevitably get ferociously pissed off at a German restaurant because German restaurants, it is a total fucking free-for-all. They may or may not wait on you. They may or may not acknowledge that you're there. If they do decide to acknowledge that you're there, be prepared to wait. The service is, by American standards, extremely shitty. But all that aside, I thought, well, okay, so where is this coming from? Let's take a quick history lesson into the American entitlement. Why I think Americans have this trait that stands out so stark, and it goes back to think about why America became America, right? So we were obviously British people, came over here, killed all the Indians, slowly, either with guns or with disease. And on our way to independence, or knowing that we wanted to become independent, we just we came here with a fucking sense of entitlement. So I can say we inherited at least some of it from our English ancestors. Because seriously, how fucking self-entitled do you have to feel to just come into this gigantic country with people already here and say, "Fuck you, this is ours"? I mean, is that not entitlement? But what provoked us, the hair that broke the camel's back with the American Revolution was the Boston Tea Party, where the English people said, "We're going to tax your tea," and you said, "No, the fuck, we are not, you are not. Here's what we think of your fucking tea tax." We dumped all the tea in the Boston Harbor and gave good old jolly England the big fuck you. Which actually leads me to believe that instead of stars on the American flag, we should have tiny middle finger symbols. 50 little fuck yous. That makes much more sense to me. Because really, this American pride that everybody talks about is very much real. And I think that's where the entitlement comes from. Because according to dictionary.com, the definition of pride is a high or inordinate opinion of one's own dignity, importance, merit, or superiority, whether as cherished in the mind or as displayed in bearing, conduct, etc. So I love that phrase, "as cherished in the mind." Because basically what that's saying is that pride is in your own fucking head. It's not real. It's feeling that you're important, not that you actually fucking are important. So in that one little act of saying "fuck you" to England, you can't tax our tea, something this small is going to push us over the edge, we need our independence, we are American. That is the rise of the American Revolution. That is when they decided that they were so fucking cool that they had to be their own country. And that right there, with every child that was born on that day hence, had an American entitlement. And the immigrants, right? So think about it this way too. Immigrants who were able to leave their situation and go to America to pursue the American dream, which was always this, what I would call a false sense of grandeur, but, I'll leave my opinion to myself. However you want to think about it, immigrants tend to be proud because they left a situation that they didn't like and started life over somewhere else. I feel proud. I'm a very proud New Zealand immigrant. Very proud. Because I didn't like where I was. It doesn't fucking matter that it was America. It could have been anywhere. Could have been Cambodia or some bullshit like that. I left where I was to pursue a happier life, and I found it. So yeah, I'm fucking proud of that. So even, with all the immigrants that came into America, I could see where they would cultivate and perpetuate that mindset of pride and henceforth entitlement. Any American in any other country where you'll notice in America that nothing is on the honor system, because the American authorities know that all Americans have this sense of entitlement and they will fucking take advantage of that shit. Perfect example, the U-Bahn in Germany is on the honor system. You buy a ticket and you get on the train. And no one checks to see if you have a ticket. But Germans have been bred for centuries to be obedient people. They fear their government and their police force in a way that Americans never will, because we have a sense of entitlement where the cops aren't any fucking better than you. They're just as corrupt as everybody else, so fuck them, And after a couple of days of going on the U-Bahn, my broke ass traveling around, I realized that no one was going to check these fucking tickets, so guess what I did? I did the American thing, and I said, I'm not going to pay for these fuckers. I'm not going to pay for a ticket if no one's going to check it. Same thing. this isn't so drastic, but it goes back to a sense of entitlement. The hostels I was staying at had free breakfast buffets, and in Germany, because they're crazy, obsessed with sandwiches apparently, they serve sandwiches like fresh baked rolls and all kinds of weird meats, look like olive loaf to me, just different types of bologna or salami or something, along with like muesli and yogurt and the other breakfast foods you'd find. So at breakfast, I would just eat my weight in muesli and Nutella, and then I would bring Tupperware to breakfast with me and make like 6 sandwiches for the rest of the day. And that way I wouldn't have to buy food, so I could travel on the cheap. Now, people gave me some weird looks taking food with me. And even my friends were like, "What are you doing? You can't take this food." And I was like, "No, yeah, I can. I paid to be in this hostel. This food is for me." Yeah. I do that shit all the time. And most of it's, no more than petty theft here and there. I would never do anything completely amoral. But it's not coming from a this is wrong, this is right concept. It's coming from, no, I deserve this, and I will figure out ways why I deserve these things when I really don't. But that's Americans are born and bred for that shit. And all of this came from me thinking I'm too American to be obedient. And it's funny because, there are heaps of Americans who are very obedient. We have lots of armed forces, but when you actually get into the psychology of why those people are in the armed forces, it's not because they're obedient. It's because they have no other choice, or they're so fucking brainwashed into this American pride concept that they're not people anymore. They're monkeys. They're brainwashed crazy people. But anyway, I'm not going to rip on the armed forces. If you're in the armed forces, good on you. You're there to protect home and country, and that's great. I wouldn't, you're happy with your country and you want to protect it. Boy, I tell you what right now, I may pick on you, but you're a better person than I am, because I wouldn't protect that fucking place for 2 seconds. I remember U.S. history class in, what was it, 9th grade, when we were learning U.S. history and we were talking about the draft, and I learned about the draft for the first time. And I remember raising my hand and saying, "Why wouldn't you just go to Canada?" And everybody looked at me like, "Because you're supposed to fight for your country." And I was like, fuck that. Even at that age, I was like, my ass would be in Canada so fast, it'd make your head spin. But you're not allowed to come back. If you go AWOL, or you flee the draft and you go to Canada, you're not allowed to come back. And my answer was, so fucking what? Who cares? I don't like it here to begin with. I would rather be in Canada now. But I don't have that choice. I wish there was a draft and my number got pulled. It'd give me a good enough excuse to go to Canada. They won't believe me if I go there and claim political asylum. Not even the Bush administration. During the days of the Bush administration, I really thought about it. Just going to Canada, handing my passport, like, here, you can have this. I don't fucking want it anymore. Can I stay here with you? Oh, true story. I grew up thinking I was Canadian. My hometown is less than about 5 miles if you just go across the river to Canada. And I grew up with basically only Canadian television, and the Canadian flag was flown right next to the American flag. Canadian money was taken on par, but mostly it was that the TV and radio stations were all in Canadian. In Canada, like they speak a different fucking language. Jesus. No, they were all Canadian fucking channels. I did not know I was American until I started school when I was 5 years old. And then the first thing they teach you is the Pledge of Allegiance. And I started crying. A 5-year-old little girl. I started crying and pitching a fit because it dawned on me that I wasn't Canadian. That I was one of these asshole Americans that I heard about on the TV all the time. Oh, is it any wonder I live in New Zealand and I'm not going to say I'm never going back. I miss you, sis. I miss you, mommy. I miss you, daddy, whoever the fuck is listening to this. I do miss you guys, but I got a 5-year minimum. I got a very steadfast 5-year minimum on my return to the States. Getting out was so awful that, yeah, read about that on my blog. Snafu. Just search snafu. It was, oh God, it was awful. Yeah, I can't take the chance of them not letting me back into New Zealand, so I'm not going to go. Anywho. So I'm going to take a kind of a different turn because just last night, and I actually think it was kind of fateful, or whatever you believe, that I didn't record this until today because I was too fucking busy. Yeah, that's right. I have a life now. Suck it. Yeah, so I got home last night and like all good Americans, I get in bed with my fucking phone and I just start killing time on Facebook like it's my job. One of my friends had posted this video. Can't remember what it was called, but it was something like "Why do men cheat?" or "Why do we cheat?" I don't think it was specific to men. It was talking about cheating in general, or how to stop your partner from cheating, or what. I think it was just why we cheat. But anyway, I'm kind of starting something new here, and that's always a subject I've found fascinating anyway, because I completely tend to disassociate love and sex. And I'm not saying this is a good thing. This is actually something I've struggled with my whole life. That whole connection that women feel after having sex with a man, I've never felt it. I've always been a love 'em and leave 'em type of gal. I'm not proud of it, just being honest. So for me, cheating was like, I'm caught right in between. The only thing that is important to me in a relationship is trust and respect and honesty. Just trust and honesty, because kind of respect is kind of built into that, I think. That's the number one important thing to me. Be honest. Be truthful. That's all I care about. But then you're caught with like, well, fuck, they were honest about cheating. So now you got to make the decision, how do you make that decision? Why do people cheat? Blah, blah, blah. What do you do? Because can you ever trust someone that's ever cheated on you? Basically, that's what it comes down to. Even if they were honest about cheating, that gets them about halfway there. But can you ever really trust them again? That's a question everybody's got to answer for themselves. But this woman said something that really caught my ear, which was that in this day and age, in the 21st century, people cheat more and more because we are a culture. We're talking now of everybody, of the world. This woman was, I don't know, it sounded like she had a French accent. She said she wasn't French. Maybe she was Swiss. I don't know. I'm American, so I don't actually know other countries well enough to pinpoint it. She sounded French to me. But anyway, she said that in this day and age, people have such a feeling of entitlement that's why they cheated. And I was like, what? How the fuck does that work? And she said it's because people feel entitled to be happy. Well, I'm thinking, well, that's a good thing. Let's not take a turn to negativity town. Everybody should feel entitled to be happy. Trust that. If you don't think you deserve to be happy, you are in for one fucking foul lifetime. Jesus. It's a wonder you don't swallow a bunch of pills and throw yourself off a cliff. I mean, make no mistake, you are entitled to be happy. And if you're not happy in your relationship, don't fucking cheat on them. Just go. Just leave. Don't let your own bullshit fear, and I'm saying this like it's so easy, right? And I know it's not, because I've been there. I've been cheated on. I've never cheated, but I've thought about it because I wasn't happy with my relationship. And that's just one quick way to end an unhappy relationship. It's like, I'll go bang someone else, then they'll want to leave me. Right? It's an easy out if you're in a shit relationship and you want to get out. At that point, you're not really cheating at them, are you? You've just already mentally left a relationship that's still going. It's like you forgot to tell him you broke up with him and you just moved on already. It makes it easier, but it's not fair to the other person. So my ears perked because, I don't think that we should put a negative spin on feeling entitled to be happy, because I think that that's a basic human right. But, when I guess what she was trying to say is, and I'd have to watch it again to be honest, but what I got from it was that if we're happy in a relationship because of this sense of entitlement to happiness, we're always wondering, oh, well, I am happy. I'm happy in a relationship. Happy with whomever. Fill in, X name. But what if I could be happier? It's that, I think it's more the self-doubt, really, than a sense of entitlement to be happy. It's the grass is always greener on the other side. I would argue that that's why people cheat. It's like, well, that chick, she's got bigger knockers. Let's see if she's any better in bed. Look, I don't have the fucking answers. Like I said, I just started something, and I'm watching this shit thinking, well, Jesus Christ, this chick makes it think that cheating is just inevitable. But I'm here to tell you, all I was doing was texting a couple of guys off of Tinder at the same time, and I felt like the biggest slut in the world. I was not okay. I was not okay. In my heart of hearts, I was sick with myself. And all I was doing was texting. I wasn't sending dirty pictures. I wasn't, nothing in the text were even of a sexual nature, because I'm not an overly sexual person to begin with. But even then, I felt disgusted with dating one guy and texting another dude at the same time. And I'll tell you the outcome of my last podcast. I decided not to meet the guy. I called him up. I didn't call him up. I texted him up. Isn't that I don't know. That's just how we communicate nowadays. I texted him, said, look, I kind of got something going. I want to give it an honest go, and I don't feel right. And he said, good on you, If you ever become available, well, let me know. I'm like, hey, I'll keep that in mind. The thing is that there's always going to be apps like Tinder. There's always going to be ways to meet new people. Don't be afraid to be alone. I'm not saying I'm any better. I'm actually terrified to be with some. I'm the fucking opposite of being afraid to be alone, which is no better. Make no mistake. When you're selfish with your time and you're just, you've got your routine down and you like it, and you've got your friends and you're happy, but you could be happier if you just made some compromises and accommodated another person in your life. But Jesus, it takes effort. Well, and then people are telling me, well, it shouldn't feel like work. Shouldn't feel like work. I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. Anytime you start a new relationship, you have to change your habits. You have to change some habits to accommodate this new person. Some people find that exciting. Some people find it disturbing. I'm an addict. I'm addicted to my habits. You see what that is? That's a double whammy. To be addicted to your habits, that's like being addicted to your addictions. That's 2 fucking layers of bullshit. Not just one. That's 2. I'm good at being alone. I'm really good at it. I've done it for a really long time. All my human brain knows is that, hey, yeah, you've tried a relationship that fell through and it hurt like a son of a bitch. So, yeah, let's think twice before that happens again. But guess what? I have thought twice. I've thought twice. I've thought 3 times. I've probably thought 1,000,000 times. Because my brain analyzes shit on a level that normal humans can't even conceive. Because I actually analyze my analytical thoughts. Again, 1 layer of bullshit isn't enough for me. I've got to double down on my psychosis. Oh yeah. 2 levels of neuroses is what I have on the menu. Thank you so much. But I'm glad that I'm like that because it enables me to take responsibility. I take responsibility for everything I do. If I'm not happy, I say, fuck that, we need to do something to change. You know, I didn't love myself. I wasn't happy. So I said, you know what? You're going to get there come hell or high water. And I did. And because I did that, I'm not so afraid. I'm not dwelling on the future and being anxious, which is awesome, because that is something brand new to me. That is something I have never been able to do that before I moved to New Zealand. But I think it's because I have a life here. You know, it's like, I'm going to take this chance because if shit falls through, I'm still good. And I'm not going to pass up on something that could be life-changingly amazing because I'm afraid of pain at the end of the road. There's always going to be pain. There's always going to be pain. Whether it works out with this dude and we're together for 30 fucking years, or whether we're together for a couple years, or whether we're together for 2 more days. It doesn't matter. The pain at the end of the day is going to be the same. It's going to hurt either way. So why miss out on all the awesome shit that could happen in between? Because I'm afraid of pain. I'm no stranger to pain. No one's any stranger. If you're a human, you're no stranger to pain. This is not always a pleasant situation to be in, to live in this human skin. But the thing that brings me more comfort than anything else, and I've completely got off the fucking topic, but I'm up on my soapbox and I'm not about to step down. I know that I love myself. That if someone decides to stop loving me, that pain won't be as powerful because I'll be right there saying, hey, guess what? I'm still here. And I still think you're rad. I think you're a bitchin' chick. I think you're funny and awesome and smart and pretty. So, yeah, we're still all right. We've got friends. You know? But I've got me. I know how to take care of myself. And I think that when you bring that to a relationship, it only makes the relationship stronger. Because I don't need to be fucking babysat. I don't need to be pet like a goddamn dog. I don't need constant attention. When you want to give it to me, hey, great. When I want to give it to you, I hope you like it, or else you wouldn't be with me. You know, it's great to have that connection. But sometimes you gotta just kind of entertain yourself for a while. I get in my own head, you know, my me time is at the gym. I wouldn't fucking compromise that for anything, and the right person would never ask me to. You know? I have no idea what I've been even talking about for the last 20 minutes, but I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, yeah, I guess it just pissed me off that chick said you're entitled to be happy and that's what's going to make you cheat. No! Those are two different things. Yes, you are entitled to be happy. No, you are not entitled to be a fucking asshole and cheat on your partner that you love or that you say you love. Well, I know everybody cheats for their own reasons. I'm not saying I'll never do it. I can't fucking guarantee anything. There are no guarantees in this life. Will I be cheated on? Probably. Will I cheat? Probably not. I can't get to a place where I'm okay with that. And, you know, under the right circumstances, I could see myself forgiving someone who cheated on me. I didn't forgive the last one because the relationship was already done. If I thought the relationship was worth saving, I'd have forgiven him. But I'm not going to get into it, why that whole situation went down. It was my own. I know you guys are going to think I'm some kind of, oh, it was just me. It was me. I drove him to do that. But I'm serious. Serious. I did. I knew he couldn't handle having a friendship with a woman, with a chick. He told me many times, I don't know how to be just friends with a girl. And I fucking knew that he worked and went to school with this chick, and I encouraged him to try to be just her friend. I knew what I was doing. I knew I was just making the breakup easier on him by driving him to someone else. It didn't work. I didn't make that kind of backup plan for myself because when it happened, when the inevitable happened, I felt like running into traffic because I hurt so fucking bad. But even then, I knew I had only myself to blame. Anyway, I don't want to get into all that. It sucked. Doesn't matter because I'm here now and things are cool. Starting over, you know, it's weird. It's weird, exciting, and awesome starting a new relationship, but you got to admit, it's a little scary because there's uncertainty, and that's just life, and you just got to go with it. But yeah, I kind of think of it this way. It's like every relationship has a day one. You know? My grandparents were married for over 60 years. And it never occurred to me to ask them how they met until, I don't know, just a few years ago? You want to do something interesting, go to your family members or friends who have been married heaps a long time and ask them how they met. I find that shit totally phenomenally interesting. And not just because, you know, I have a lot of insecurities about relationships, which I'm working on. I'm working through, getting better, getting stronger. Got a really solid game plan in place. Excited to try it out. Anywho, my grandparents, I laugh like a hyena. I love my grandfather. I think I've talked about it on my blog. My grandfather was the coolest person in the world. Loved him to bits. He showed his love by telling me that I was as useless as a cunt and a nun. There's no wonder why I'm as weird as I am when you take that fact into account. I was never shown how to love someone conventionally. That's the only way I know how to show my love for someone is to pick on them and hit them and, you know, like be kind of playful and tough love is how I would describe it. But, you know, if I pick on you, it's because I love you. That's all I can say, you know. I don't fuck with people I don't care about, you know. I just love, you know, I just love that part. But anyway, my grandfather, I found out that my grandmother was actually dating my grandfather's brother, Mike, who looks just like him. They look like twins. But they're not. And it was a wicked snowy night. And my grandfather had to drive what was his brother's girlfriend home. And it was snowing, and they ended up going in the ditch. And then he said something like, "I've been stuck with the bitch ever since." Unfucking believable. I wish I could tell a story like that. That's epic. That is epic. 60 years of marriage, and that's how he explained. That's how he explained how they got together. My grandfather was also missing the pointer finger on his right hand. And he used to tell me my grandmother bit it off. Yeah. R.I.P. Barney Fichette. God, I loved you. You were a great guy. Taught me everything I knew about swearing. He's probably the number one reason why I talk this way. Like a fucking sailor. Oh, man. Great guy. Okay, so I somehow went to the American false sense of entitlement, to cheating on people, to talking about my grandfather. Wow. Yeah, I think we can call that a fucking job well done. That's a true ramble right there. Anyway, if you go to my blog, I'll post this video with a link of the bullshit it took me to get to New Zealand and why I have a 5-year no return policy on the U.S. And I might also post the video that I watched on. I'll try to find that video of that chick talking about why people cheat, because it really is. I mean, it's a fascinating subject. It's really personal. Something everybody's gotta figure out for themselves. In the meantime, don't hate on Americans. They were born that way. Yes, we are very self-entitled. No, we don't like to wait in lines. No, we don't like shitty service. We think we deserve better. I wish I had an explanation, but I don't. I feel that way too. I know it's wrong, but I'm no closer to stopping myself from feeling that way. So, on that note, oh shit, I love Squirrel Radio out. Over and out.